Hi, this is Moriah Wicker and Cassie DW with KW here in Plymouth.
Welcome to Selling the South Shore, Real Estate in Real Life.
Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or live like a local, we've got you covered. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey guys, so today Cassie and I are going to talk to you about maybe something a little bit different and unexpected for what we do for our jobs, and that's maybe there are times where you shouldn't sell your home, and this is rooted really in when I look back on my life before real estate, things I wish I knew. So we're actually right now about to head to an estate planning seminar, which if you haven't signed up for one of those yet, we have one coming up in May and one coming up in September. And the purpose of those classes is to help you understand how to protect your home and make it very clear to whoever your surviving friends and family are what your wishes were. Before I got into real estate, my mom is one of 5 kids, and I'm just, this is gonna be like story time and just like chime in whatever you got.
Yep.
My mom is one of 5, and when her parents, were living, my grandfather owned like a big plot of land in Halifax. So firstborn got a lot, secondborn got a lot, thirdborn had married someone who also's family had land, and they made the decision to go with her family in Kingston, and they got land. And then the fourthborn also got land. I don't necessarily know what happened with my mom and land. I don't know if she was like, I'm going to be independent or what, or whatever. My mom went and she bought a house on her own. So when my grandparents passed, there were 2 siblings that did not get land. My mom and my mom's brother that moved to Kingston, even though like he did just from like his in-laws, So in the will, they each got like an additional $25,000 because they hadn't, those lots of land were worth $25,000 in, I don't know,
whatever year,
1980 or whatever. Obviously, that was, they then, appreciated an investment. They should have then taken that 25 grand, put in like some sort of CD, so it had like an equal opportunity for investment growth. But they love my grandparents more than anything, but they didn't probably meet with a financial advisor about that. So, anyway, so when my grandfather passed, my mom had moved in to take care of him and kind of give him end of life care. Her background was in the medical field, and the house, it was a great house, but like it was like one of those homes that like you definitely don't think, it's the only time in my life where I've really understood when people think that there's a number tied to their home that just isn't true. That home to me was like, in my mind, worth so much more than it really was, and probably for everyone else too. There was no heat upstairs. It was wicked outdated.
Yeah.
Like if I were to go there now as a real estate agent, I'd be like, oh my God, like this needs some work.
Yep.
But it was a great property. And my mom, the house that she bought was like a cottage that my mom and dad never fixed up. So it was like in terrible, like when we listed that, I was like, someone's just gonna tear this down and build on top. So when my family met, separating of affairs or handling of affairs after the, matriarch and patriarch of the family passed can be so dividing in a family.
Yeah.
And obviously like that happened in mine. So almost like not 5 factions, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Which was like really sad, honestly, because we were a family that got together. I mean, they all lived like in this like epicenter of Halifax. That, it was difficult to then kind of see them disagree on how things should be handled. And my mom didn't have much money, and in hindsight, like we were like, how could she ever buy that? In hindsight, she could have sold her home, taken the bonus she was essentially getting because she wasn't one of the ones that got land, as well as the discount from, because she was going to get 1/5 of whatever the sale price was.
Yep.
And have that all factored into what she bought it for. And she probably could have purchased that home, which would have been an upgrade for her, like kept the home in the family. It would have changed my mom's life in such a powerful way. And and then not have had the house go to like someone else. And honestly, now there's a beautiful family living there, and they're using the home really well. But I didn't know anything about real estate at the time to kind of say, okay,
these are your options.
These are our options. We don't have to put this house in the market and sell it. My grandparents actually had kind of curated their will in a way to give either my mother or her brother that didn't get land a deep discount on the house.
Yeah.
You know, because again, they would have got 1/5. They also had that little essentially down payment. And then she had her home that she could have sold. And she probably would have had to take out like a small mortgage, like maybe $100,000 mortgage on the property still. But I wish that we as a family had reached out to somebody that we knew and trusted to say, what are our options with this house?
Yeah.
Because it isn't always, we got to sell it because we got to pay the bills and there's no one to carry. Like, really have that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's something I really wish I knew and understood, because like they all still would have got paid. You know what I mean? And they all had assets from essentially the original estate.
Yeah.
And I that's what I want people to know. Like today, people that are gonna come to the seminar, I've had to tell people, hey, this isn't like a real estate thing.
No, yeah.
This is
it's
like
plan your life. What do you want to happen with all of your assets? What do you want to leave for your kids? The protections in there. I know, like, obviously not to get political, but like being a 2-mom family, like, especially getting things in a trust and getting my will set. Especially before adopting Quinn, like, there's very important things. So these estate planning classes, like you said, they really have nothing to do with real estate, but we've learned, especially being former teachers, knowledge is power, right? So it's people, I feel like a lot of times look at, especially real estate and real estate agents, just as, you know, like sales, sales, used car salesman. And it's not that. It is understanding everything. Like, that would have been huge for your family had your mom had those options and been able to make that decision back then.
It's when someone calls me and says, hey, you know, so-and-so passed away, we need you to come over and tell us what the house is worth. When I sit down, like, yes, I'm going in for a listing appointment and I prepare that way, but the first question I ask is there anybody in the family that you want to see this home go to? Like, is there anyone in your family that could, just because I wish that the person that sold my grandparents' house, I wish that they had really thought about like my family as a family, not as a transaction. Because it, like, again, I mean, now, you know, fast forward after that, my mom ended up having a stroke. She ended up having to sell her house in short time anyway, mostly because her house was unsafe for her, whereas my grandparents' house would have been safe for her. She then got into a rental and as now, you know, has its benefits, but it doesn't give you a lot of financial security. And we did what we had to do at the time because we needed her closer to us so that I could help take care of her. But like, that house would have been a great house, like my kids to go and grow up into, like have the same experience that I had. Like, it's near the pond, it's on, like, it could have been handled so much differently. And I really just want people to understand that, like, you can call either of us at any time and be like, you know, hey, I have this question. You're not gonna like then go on a list of like, oh my gosh, like Sarah wants to sell her house. Like, let's stalk her now and dig our claws in and try to get a sale. It's what's the best financial decision for you? You know, like, I have a listing right now that if we don't get the number we're at now, my advice will be, don't sell it. You should rent it out or hold it for a little bit longer and try again. You know, it's not going to be just get it sold. That's not the answer.
Well, and I was just going to say that too, because not even in situations of like an estate sale or somebody passing, but even families that want to move up. And then what do they do with their current place? And I actually just had a conversation with somebody the same. They're living in a condo, no mortgage, and they can get probably $2,800 a month renting that condo out because they're like, they can't really afford, they have money for a down payment, but they just can't afford like that monthly payment for the next one, but they want out of the condo. So one of the things is, okay, well, what if you rent out the condo?
Yeah.
You're getting $2,800 a month. What can you put out of that money into the mortgage for the next?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense money-wise?
Right.
So there's so many scenarios, and especially like us learning recently, I know that both of us, we both bought our first homes a couple years ago, and now we have our eyes set on investing as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So holding on to that for a starter home, like that might be the smartest. I think, that's what you and your family are.
Oh, for sure. It's what anyone that I sold a home to in 2020, 2021, and the first half of 2022, I strongly encourage that they consider becoming a landlord, even if it's only for like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Just like get a little cash grab.
Yep. Yeah.
On your investment. So yeah, that's just my thing. I mean, now of course, that being said, we do hope that you refer us to all your friends and family.
Yes.
But there's no, like, I don't know. We don't like hit a button and start charging by the minute to give advice. We love talking to people and giving our honest feedback on what the best decision is for you, or your friends or your family at that time. And it doesn't always mean that, a sale happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And even with renting, my brother has a friend out in California, and it makes more sense for him to rent. They want to move their family back here to Massachusetts. But they found a cheap rental, like $800 a month.
Yeah.
You're not going to pay a mortgage anywhere close to that. So
right.
like rent. And then when you get sick of doing that and you want to make a move, obviously I'm here, but we try to find you the best possible situation for you and your family. And that's what matters. The sales don't matter. It's getting our people into the best positions.
So estate planning is coming up May and September.
Yep.
We haven't caught those, but again, anytime you can call us, and we're happy to give you our feedback.
Definitely. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next week. Perfect.
We have one little short and then